Hi, everyone. This is Jenny Moniz from We Didn't Turn Out Okay podcast. Did you know at Great Wolf Lodge, there's adventure for the whole family? You and your pack can splash away in the indoor water park where it's always 84 degrees. There's a massive wave pool, a lazy river, and tons of water slides for your pack to enjoy together. And the fun doesn't stop there. Get ready to explore and play at adventure-packed attractions from Magi Quest, a live action game that takes place throughout the lodge to the Northern Lights Arcade. There's also a bunch of great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. And the best part, it's their biggest sale of the year, only on August 4th. Book a family suite starting at just $84 a night. It's the 84-degree sale from Great Wolf Lodge, only on 8/4. Book your stay today at greatwolf.com.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Got a car to sell but no time to waste? Hop on to Carvana.com to get a real offer for your car in seconds. All you have to do is enter your license plate, answer a few quick questions, and if you accept the offer, Carvana will pay you as soon as you hand the keys over. They even offer same-day pickup in many cities. Save your time, score some cash, and sell your car the convenient way to Carvana. Pickup times vary. Fees may apply.
My dad had many shows with Starsky and Hutch, I think Charlie's Angels, all the shows from the 70s. And then you got into Love Boat and Dynasty. And that's when everything just exploded. And we were going to do a family trip. Tori, this is well into 90210. I think we were staying at Caesar's Palace and she got mobbed. And then my dad got mobbed. I mean, I'm talking 200, 300, 400 people.
What was it like for 10-year-old you? Like, what was your normal growing up?
I spent the first 2 months in an incubator. I was born 2 pounds.
2 pounds.
What is important? Is it money? Is it fame?
Were you born into the riches, or did the wealth build as you were born?
I want to affect change. I want to connect with people. That's really powerful. The only way that I knew how to do that was what was right in front of me, and that was be an actor.
Why did that change?
That changed.
Oldish. The art of knowing more and caring less. With your host, Randy Spelling, Brian Austin Green, and Sharna Burgess.
Welcome to another episode of Oldish. Here we are. Here we are. So we had this idea. We posed a question to all of you that watch and listen to the show of what guests you would like to see and hear on our show. And I think the number one most requested was that we would interview each other. Mm-hmm. And I right away thought it's a great idea. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but I thought like, that'll be cool. Like if we really do it, like we really go for it, we ask some of the questions that we know people are wondering, and we jump in and we play it like we do with most of our guests, it could be really interesting to do.
And we already did yours.
Right. We did mine first. I was the guinea pig of it all. So that means that we have 2 left, right? 1 is done. So we had a plan for today. But then there became a bit of a like flag on the play as we were sort of sitting at home and talking about it. And I was trying to figure out where to go in talking to you. So
Talking to me.
Talking to you.
Right.
Yeah. So we have decided to make a few changes. So Randy Spelling, welcome to Oldish.
What?
This is yours, baby.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're in.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What the research
you put that on that on the ground. That you saved that. Yeah. So this is you.
Are you serious?
Randy, I would like to say I had no part in this plan.
Just read.
I had deep
just
anxiety.
Read the intro because
don't tell
then
me
he'll
what
get
to
a
do.
sense.
I had deep anxiety. I was like, we should tell him. I don't know if we should just throw this on him.
So read the intro because then I think you'll get an idea of what this is going to be.
Wait, first of all, I just have to say when he's talking, I'm like, should I read my intro? Because this is what's happening?
What's happening right now?
Right.
Is he struggling? So just to fill in any gaps for you guys, we were planning to interview me today, and Brian said to me last minute last night, he's like, listen, I just have this instinct feeling like we should land it on Randy by surprise tomorrow because he's so prepared for everything and see how he goes.
But you work with people all the time that have no idea what it is they're doing, and they're kind of caught flat-footed, and so they don't have a chance to like pre-think what it is going on. So here we are. Yeah. So, or do you want me to read it, baby?
No, I'll read it.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
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 Hey, Randy.
Game on.
Randy, I love you. I'm really sorry. So confession time. We've been dying to do this episode because when one of your good friends grows up in a mansion that has 123 rooms, which I didn't know about, and also has its own gift wrapping room or department, I would say.
Naturally, you have questions.
Yeah, naturally you have questions. Randy, welcome. I'm super excited to get into things with you because Brian's known you your whole life, right? Pretty much, or a big
since
chunk
I was
of it.
12.
But for me, it's been our few years of our oldish experience, and you've certainly shared parts of your story with me. But in me trying to do research on you for this interview, I was like, 123 rooms? Like, for a kid that grew up like me, that's unfathomable. What was it like for 10-year-old you? Like, what was your normal growing up?
What was my
Especially in the first 10 years of your life?
So I moved to that house, the 123 room house called the Manor,
the Manor,
when I
right.
was 12. So
okay.
we were in another house. So it was Sunset Boulevard. We were on the north side of Sunset. And then they bought the house from Bing Crosby's old house, I think. And then
where the manor
was. And it was a 5-year building process.
It was a massive piece of property.
It was massive, and it made headlines and news stories because I don't know why, but back at the time, there weren't houses like this being built. Now, I was in Beverly Hills and looking at real estate, and my daughter's like, oh, I love that house. Let's look it up. It was a $150 million house, only to see about 10 other $150 million houses.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay. That's
How much do you think that house cost when it was built?
the Manor.
Yes.
I don't know. 'Cause
No
you're
idea.
talking the 80s.
Right. No.
So 80 million?
$80 million
I don't know.
in the
I don't know.
80s.
Yeah.
Okay, so say it was even just $40 million.
In the 80s.
Right, 60 million.
My parents bought their house in North Hollywood in 1972 for $35,000.
Right. Perspective on that.
That is, to look now and be like, oh, they're like $150 million homes.
Right.
And the Manor was one of them. I think from what I read, the Manor is still like the highest valued and selling house in that area. It's sold for
Potentially.
180 something million dollars,
wow.
I believe it was.
It sold for 120, I think. It's actually on the market right now.
Is it?
It was over 150,
They
and then
flipped
there
it?
was a price drop. Yeah, Petra, something, the heir of the Formula One of UK bought it and completely sort of modernized it and made it more black and white, because when my parents built it, my mom was always a big fan of France and Paris, loved Paris still, one of her favorite cities. So the house was really modeled after.
It was very like dynasty
chateau
Dallas. Yeah,
in
it kind of had that.
Paris. It had limestone and the roof sort of had the curve on it.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I just went to France a little bit ago, took the kids for the first time, and I could appreciate the house even more being older and looking at the architecture in France and realizing what it took to actually recreate something like that. I mean, I don't know about you, but small renovations in the house, it's stressful.
Yeah.
Building and managing a 123 room house with all of the details, that's a whole other level.
I have to say homes back then too. Like if you look at the incredible detail that was just generally on homes with the ceilings and the moldings and the chandeliers, it was so much more decadent than these clean cuts and lines that we do now. But take me back again. So, all right. So you moved to that when you were 12. What was it? were you born into the riches, or did the wealth build as you were born?
It definitely built. By the time I came along, I believe, because I was born in 78, so my dad had many shows by then. There was Starsky and Hutch, I think Charlie's Angels, all the shows from the 70s. And then you got into Love Boat and Dynasty, and that's when everything just exploded.
Right.
All those shows in syndication. I mean, he had at one point, I think, 7 shows on the air at one time. Now, I mean, that sounds like a lot now.
Back during the time when there were 3 networks.
Right.
Yeah.
There were 3, 4 networks, no cable.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so how did that affect you in your life? Did you feel a change? Did you feel it build? Did things change for you, or it was just you were always in that space?
I didn't know. So you asked what was normal for me. What was normal for me was my family, because that's what I knew, right? So I have these memories of being in the crib and being in my room, and like that was normal. I remember really wanting to be around people more. And I think, the house was not the manor. It wasn't 123 rooms, but it was still a big house.
Yeah.
And I spent the first 2 months in an incubator. I was born 2 pounds back in 78. I had like
2 pounds.
2 pounds, 14 ounces.
How premature
10%.
were you?
I was 2.5 months premature. So my lungs were barely developed. I had jaundice and a host of other things. So I was literally in the incubator for a couple months.
You started with isolation.
Yeah. So I always had that I just want everyone to be together. And our family was together. So it wasn't we did have nannies. I was around people, but there was this real yearning of having the family in the same room together. And I've shared this with you too, maybe off air. I would pray for blackouts because we would light candles and maybe order pizza and all be in one room. And there was just something fun and exciting. I loved holidays. One of my favorite
You
memories.
guys always did holidays massive.
We always did holidays. I mean, one of my favorite memories to this day, why I love fireplaces, is because I came home from school. It was Christmas break. I had a See's Sucker butterscotch,
The best.
sucking on it.
Yeah.
And it was a half day of school, and my dad had come home from work early. We were in the office area, and there was this old brick sort of converted gas fireplace, and there was a record of Nat King Cole. And I remember my dad with his pipe, and everyone was talking and making plans for Christmas Eve. And the Christmas music was on, and it was slightly colder in LA. And I was like, it was just that one snapshot moment in time that I always have tried to recreate.
Yeah. Connection. Family.
When was the first time that you realized that what was normal to you wasn't normal? That what you guys had was absolutely special?
That was through my peers.
Okay.
So it started when my parents would come in a limousine and my friends would talk about the limousine. Now, in this day and age, that wouldn't really happen because people have Teslas or SUVs. It's not quite the same, but the limousine was a different category.
And you guys owned one. I remember
owned
the
one.
limo that was always parked at the manor.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, time to go out. Okay, we're going to get in the limo and do our stuff.
And it was, the driver pulls up and my mom and dad get out of the limo to come to Christmas carols or the thing. And it was, I think it was
so extravagant,
a known thing.
Yeah.
So then my friends would start asking me questions. And that's when I thought, oh, this isn't just like everybody else. And that started me really wanting to fit in, realizing, oh, I have to maybe work against this to fit in so I could be accepted because I don't want to stand out.
Oh, interesting. So it didn't become necessarily a part of your identity that you owned it. You were like, yes, I have all these things.
No, I think we both tried to sometimes play against it because it's uncomfortable.
I noticed that with your
right?
sister. When the first time I met her when we were doing the pilot, I was shocked because I think it was Shannon who was like, "Oh, have you met Tori yet, Aaron's daughter?" And I was like, "No." And then I met her, and it was like, I would never in a million years expect that this girl that I just met is the daughter of my boss on this thing. It was crazy.
Right.
Now, did you feel, because I know you kind of went the one way and you guys wanted to sort of fly under the radar a little bit, but did you at the same time though feel pressure because of who your dad was and what you guys did of having to live up to a certain thing and be a certain way when you were out?
Yes.
Running a business comes with a lot of what ifs, but luckily there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Your burger is served, and this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. Its sweet profile perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger.
That is one perfect combination. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Yes. I think, again, though, you're talking about the 80s. Things were more proper. I like to tell my girls this about going to Vegas. You know, I took them to Vegas and I was having all these nostalgic memories thinking about magic shows. They were like Siegfried and Roy and David Copperfield. And I would have my little blue suit and tie and shoes. And I probably didn't like wearing it, but it was part of I'm doing something special. And you'd have the 2-drink minimum, Shirley Temples and the wedge salad, right? And it was like, oh, we're going to Siegfried and Roy. And now in this day and age, it's like everything's so casual. So there was, you know, I think to represent and to fit in when we were going to fancier restaurants and around people who were dressed up, we would have to dress up and we would have to act a certain way. You know,
that had to feel awkward though, being that you wanted to shy away from that as much as possible when you could, and then knowing, okay, now we're on display, now I'm putting on sort of the show of fitting into this. Like that's such a dual personality to have to play at such a young age.
It is a dual personality. I mean, I will say that my parents weren't, we couldn't completely act out. I mean, we knew, I'll speak for myself. I knew my place, right? I mean, I knew that I couldn't just completely while out and go crazy, especially around people. Right. So I knew right and wrong. I think I became a people pleaser very early on because I was so attuned to the people around me, the world around me. And, you know, that was one of the things that was very confusing early on, even though I didn't have context for this. I was highly empathic and I could feel, read, sense people's energy. And I would see people coming into the house, you know, these movie stars and these other people. And you could see the way that they're treated, right? You could see, you know, there's a charisma, there's an air, people are treating them a certain way. But yet the feeling that they had inside, you could feel, oh, they're hurting or they're in pain. So I started, that's what was so confusing is like, I want to get what I want in my little world. And yet, what is that? What is important? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it, because I shied away from fame. I didn't, Tori was always the one from early on. She was like, I want to be in front of the camera. People would ask me and come up to me at rap parties and pinch my cheeks and be like, oh, you're so cute. Are you going to be an actor? And I was like, nope, not going to be an actor.
You never wanted it.
I remember when we were starting the show and you would come around, you just were the farthest thing from somebody that was interested at all in what we were doing. Like you just wanted to hang out and play and do stuff. Like you just showed no interest at all in things.
Yeah, I did not want the attention.
Why did that change?
That changed when I think I was 15 And my parents were actually pretty strict when I got sick. They're like, okay, you can't go out and do a bunch of stuff. You're sick.
Right.
And I think because maybe I was premature and whatnot, I spent a lot of time as a kid sick. I got sick like 4 or 5 times a year. Was always on antibiotics. I got pretty sick a couple times with pneumonia. And so there was just sort of this ethos that if you're sick, you need to lay low. And it was spring break. I had a week off and I got sick. I'm thinking, great, I can't go out and I can't do much. What am I going to do? And I had this little video camera, and my friends and I got into making little funny videos to rap music and whatever. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'm going to write something. I'm going to write a script. And I sat one night and I got so into it. I wrote for 5 hours and I wrote this script, and it was this character where, teen angst. Mm-hmm. I was upset dealing with things that, I was
Big
upset
things.
about. So I start to smoke a cigarette, and, I become a little bit of the bad boy. And actually in filming this, I mean, it was such a ridiculous home movie, but in filming it, I thought, wait, this is really fun. And we'll get to this later, but I think I very much gravitated to escapism for self-preservation and a coping mechanism. I didn't know that this was escapism or coping. I was like, ooh, I could play someone else and do something else and act out in that way where I maybe can't act out in this way. And that's fun. So that was on the heels of usually every summer when we were kids, we went to Las Vegas, as I mentioned, and we were going to do a family trip. Tori, this is well into 90210. It exploded, and we all took a family trip, and Tori, who didn't live in the house anymore, came along. Mm-hmm. And I think we were staying at Caesar's Palace, and we were walking in the Forum Shops. She got mobbed. And then my dad got mobbed. I mean, I'm talking 200, 300, 400 people. Wow. Security was coming. And I stood back and I watched people who otherwise would never have stopped to talk or connect, give my dad a hug, say hi to my sister. And when they left, I got to hear the conversations and see them. And what I didn't realize then, but now I know, I thought, that's powerful. There's a way that you could impact someone just by saying hi to them or because they had fame, because they were recognizable. So to me,
so you recognized more the crazy soapbox of it, that you were able to stay. You had a platform if you were an actor.
That was it. I was like, I want to affect change. I want to connect with people. That's really powerful. Mm-hmm. The only way that I knew how to do that was what was right in front of me, and that was be an actor. So I literally said to my parent, I thought about this for a day, and I was scared actually to tell my parents. I don't know why I was nervous. Maybe because I never wanted to do this and it was Tori's thing. But I remember Tori wasn't there at dinner, and I remember I worked up the courage and I said, I think I want to go into acting. And all I remember was my dad saying, okay, we'll get you in classes and start you.
He must have been thrilled to hear that.
Maybe. I think.
Do you remember his reaction?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, because I think I was so nervous to even say something because it was such the antithesis of what I always said. But he did. He said, great, I'll get you into acting lessons with Catherine Daly. Mm-hmm. And I started, and that became my first vehicle of like, okay, here's what I'm doing and I'm really into it. Which I later realized wasn't necessarily my thing. I still actually love acting. I love the creative process. Mm-hmm. I think I'd actually be a much better actor now because of the depth in life experience. Right. But I tried to pin what I wanted and how to connect with people on acting. And to bring this back to what you said about, owning all the wealth and the whatever. Yeah. What really started to make me insecure, and when I knew, I stand out, I'm looked at differently than other people, was when I started acting. And yes, I was the producer's son. I was hyper aware of that, just like Tori. I was always on time. I always knew my lines. It was a thing for me. I always was prepared, which is probably why I'm prepared, for the show.
Right. And it's killing you that is just sitting on the table right now. Yep. You did all that work last night.
Throw it away.
No, save it. Save it, because Sharna's is coming soon. I have a whole different surprise for her. I'll tell you all about it.
Okay,
Can't wait.
me and Brian and his hijinks.
I know. Listen.
But the one thing I will say about this, so I was always aware that the nepotism thing, because Tori got it so hard, and she warned me. She said, Brianna, just be careful because they came after me. Interestingly, there were a couple of news stories and articles about me, but for some reason I slid under the radar. I didn't get as hard of a time about it as
we had this conversation with Tori when she was in here. Like, I genuinely believe it's because of the size of 90210.
Yes.
That she just got, and she was one of the first real Nepo babies at that point. Like, I remember it was one of the first times where people were making the connection of like, oh, dad does this and now she's working. And that, and I think you slid under the radar a bit more because you were on shows that people were watching, but it wasn't at the same, they weren't at the same level of 902, this crazy juggernaut that we were on. And people had already done so much of the talking with her. It's like, what, are we going to just continue the same conversation?
Exactly.
And, I think it just wasn't a story after a while.
Yeah. She sort of broke the wind for me.
Yeah.
So the casting director, I remember going on an audition for Warner Brothers.
Okay.
For a movie. And it was weird. I was so nervous. My heart started beating out of my chest. I was like, why am I so nervous? I don't understand why. And after I did the audition, they said, that was pretty good. That was actually pretty good. And I sat there not understanding what was happening. And they said, listen, we'll just tell you in the room, you're not right for the part, but you really surprised us. We had no idea that you could act because you're Aaron Spelling's son.
Right.
That to me was a stamp that I've had to go back and work on in terms of nerves and people judging me and viewing me, because up until then, it wasn't extreme. And that one experience solidified for me, oh my gosh, everyone's judging me for this.
They're watching for every mistake.
Like when I came on the set of 90210, I then became terrified because...
Sorry, I was trying to sneeze silently and I was like, I can't hold it. He knows what my sneezes are like. I tried
let her go.
so hard.
Just let it go. And then,
Sorry, you were on set of 90210.
And I remember doing 90210 and not being nervous the first couple times. Then that happened and I went on 90210 and I had to take deep breaths because I felt like everybody was now judging me because of who I was.
So much pressure.
It was a lot.
What's so interesting is being on the other side. Like, I remember when you started working on it and literally nobody was judging you. Like, everybody was because we had all known you for so long. You were the little kid that used to run around the set, and all of a sudden you're old enough and you're working on the show and you're a character and you have lines, and it was so fun for everybody of like, oh my God, I get to be in a scene with Randy. So it's that whole thing of like, people assume the worst with everybody that's around them, and that they're being judged, and that they're being, they're like, just everybody's looking at you through a magnifying glass, and they're looking for every mistake you make. And that couldn't have been further from the truth on that set.
Right.
Randy, were you close with your dad?
I was.
You were?
I was close with him.
Was there any part of you that wanted, because you were so craving connection, more closeness with him? So this, being a part of his shows and acting, did you ever hope that was going to bring you even more connection with him?
He was super busy. So did this bring a bit more connection with your dad because you were kind of working with him on things?
What he loved so much?
Not necessarily. So my dad, interestingly enough, yes, I always wanted to spend more time with my parents and yearned for that, but they very much played different roles. Whereas, my dad, I would sit in his bathroom early in the morning. He'd be reading the paper on the toilet, right? And I'm like going through his drawers and looking for treasures and different things. And so I got the time in with him where I could. He was a super sweet guy. I didn't do it though because I wanted to please him, and I didn't do it because I thought it would bring us closer, but it did give us similar language. Especially because when I started to get to about 17 or 18, this is when my whole sort of awakening spiritual journey started. And I remember sitting outside at the house reading one of these.
At the manor.
At the manor.
Okay.
It was a beautiful day, and reading one of these, sort of spiritual self-help books. That I think I was reading the book Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian L. Weiss.
At 17?
At 17.
Wow.
Yep. And I remember waiting for my dad to come home and having this really long talk with him. I remember I pushed myself up on the counter, and he was coming in, and I said, I had some thoughts today. And he said, what? What, babe? What's going on? And I said, you have a wine cellar downstairs with chairs in it. He said, yeah. And I said, have you ever used it? Have you ever sat there and had a glass of wine? And he was like, not really. And I said, I was laying outside reading a book today, laying on the lounge chair, just appreciating everything that we have. Are you taking time to appreciate this? And I was sort of like trying to get into the psychology with him. And it wasn't really registering. And so, being a teenager and also becoming an adult and a man and starting to see the world differently, I started then to look at all of this stuff and everything that has been amassed and built, and wow, so incredibly appreciative for it. I started to get a little bit angry. Like, are you appreciating this? Are you like you're constantly working and building? Where's the enjoyment of it?
Right. At what point do you enjoy all of these things that you have?
Do you see what you have? Wow.
Yeah.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
So we had the one language, though. We'd come back, he'd talk about 90210, or he'd talk about another show. So we sort of had that to
Did you guys like watch dailies or anything together, or yeah?
Yeah, when I was little, I used to be in the office. I loved going to the office.
Yeah.
And I'd sit on that huge, long, 90-foot couch.
I auditioned in there with Ian, with Doug, and so I remember that.
Did you say how long was this?
There was the pinball machine, and then he had a couch that wrapped around the room. So it was like, so you'd go into audition, and that couch would be full of people, and you'd be in the middle of the room, and it was terrifying.
Terrifying.
I remember I didn't know at all who your dad was at the point when I auditioned for the show. I had no idea. I had no idea what a producer did. Like I was, and I'd been in the business forever, but I just didn't. It's like that's all the stuff behind the scenes that all I know is I get to set. I have a director. I have, the grips. I have all the people that are around me, and we make the thing. Like I didn't know, there's an office on the other side of the hill where all the pre-production has been done and all of this has been set up. But I remember walking into the room, and your dad, first of all, your dad couldn't have been nicer.
Yeah.
He could not have been nicer and more welcoming, and like got up. I was this young kid. I was 16 years old, and just got up and, hey, Aaron, very nice to meet you. And I remember leaving the room and talking to my mom, and she was like, how'd it go? And I was like, he was one of the nicest.
Yeah.
Like the audition went fine, but he was one of the nicest people I had met. Just couldn't have been just more there and more connected and more honest. And he wasn't one of those like super busy producers that's just reading the paper and he's like, all right, kid, you do your thing, which I had experienced before. But I remember being in that office, standing in the middle, and that couch being full of people. And then there was the pinball machine. He had, what was it? was it the Dynasty pinball machine, or he had custom pinball machines that
My mom made it for him.
There was a 90210 one at one point.
Got it.
And I remember sitting in there, and it really struck me of like, this guy, like this is a major fucking player that I'm auditioning for.
Yeah, I mean, it was next level, like the fish tank that was there.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's so weird. When you're saying this, it's bringing me right back to, I sat in on some of the auditions, and I was nervous for the people coming in because, again, I could feel everyone. So I was like, ooh, even though they're charming and turning it on, I would sit there and feel really nervous for them. But my dad, every single person would get up. Not everyone, he would get up and go, hi, I'm Aaron Spelling. Nice to meet you. And then if they needed a correction or he wanted to see something, he would go and take you, put his arm around you and go and talk them through it.
Pipe in his mouth,
Like just so warm and lovely. But that couch was literally 75 feet long. I mean, it was and then filled with people. So
tell me more about this manor before we move on to the other things, because it sounds unbelievable. Literally, there's no other word for it.
It was a kid's
Was
dream.
there a bowling alley in the backyard?
Not in the backyard. It was in the basement level.
There was a crazy backyard with like enough grass that it was damn near a full-size soccer field. I remember seeing the grass and going, "Oh my God, that is a massive."
It was massive.
What was the most ludicrous room in the house?
Well, I'd say the bowling alley.
The bowling alley. Okay.
Right. I mean,
what about the gift wrapping room or the doll room or any of the stuff?
When we say a gift wrapping room, I know this has been talked about for so many years.
Yeah.
My mom, just to put this into context, was behind gifting the company for my dad.
Okay.
All of the people that he knew, their
so that
doctors.
was all done at the house.
Oh, so that was like business stuff.
Got
too.
it.
But you're talking like 1,000+ gifts.
Yeah.
And every time someone has a birthday, every time they're showing up to an event for someone's birthday, my mom's super creative.
Yeah.
She wouldn't just get a gift wrapped from Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom's or whatever.
Yeah.
She would want to make the bow.
Yeah.
She would have all of these little, depending on if it was a kid or whatever, she'd have all these
Bells
little
and things
tchotchkes
to
of
put
bells
on,
and
and
plastic
That's amazing.
balloons,
Yeah.
hot glue gun. She'd glue gun it all. And I mean, it was a work of art.
Yeah.
So
the bowling alley then. Final answer.
The bowling alley,
which was
final
awesome.
answer.
Wait, there was a doll room?
There was a doll room because she collected Madame Alexander dolls.
Was it scary?
It was a little
was
freaky.
It creepy?
It was a little freaky.
Doll rooms creep me out.
But I used it. So again, remember, I'm a teenager now. So I moved when I was 12. I was like, oh my God, this is a big house. I'm not used to this. It felt so far from my room to the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But quickly I became pretty comfortable. Then I was like, oh, this is really
Did the manor
fun.
ever feel like a haunted house kind of thing?
No.
For as big as it was?
No. It felt very warm.
Oh, wow. 123 rooms and it was full and warm. That means there's a lot of love.
There was a lot
of love.
Yeah. I mean, and we had good times, good memories. Like, again, I go back to the holidays, right? Christmas, where everyone would come in. So it became home.
It was all really amazing people that worked there too. Like it was a definite sign of how good your dad and your mom were, that everybody that was there, I remember, were just incredibly special people.
Yeah,
they loved being there.
A lot of the staff members were my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how many people work there in a house that big? Like, what is the staff?
Oof. Okay, so there was security, and there would be usually 1 to 2 people on at all times. So, 4 security guards in a 24-hour period. We would go on and off of having a chef. So there'd be a chef. And then there would be, to keep up with a house that big, there would be a handful of housekeepers.
For sure, yeah.
All day, 8 hours a day. At one point, there was a butler. At one point, there were 2 butlers. And they were literally like my best friends.
Yeah.
We would shoot pool together. They would sneak off and we would play Nintendo. And I remember this baseball game. The one, his name was Brian. He would come and we would play the RBI, Nintendo, and I was always better than him, and he would get so angry that he would bite his tongue and throw the thing, and I loved it. So again, I'm a teenager, so I would order, food and like stuff wasabi in the thing. We always played games and fun things. So that was sort of like my extended family.
Was there one room that you were not allowed to go in? Was there anywhere that was a no-go for you in the house?
No, however, I would say like the formal living room had a silk
with the 3 Christmas trees and like that big one that was
So when you walked in the front door and you had the staircase right on both sides, right? Straight ahead. That was sort of like the entertaining formal living room, not with the one with the big Christmas tree.
Okay.
But
how many living rooms did you have?
Well, there was one main living room, and I guess the other one with the Christmas tree was the family room.
Got it.
Like family room, like hotel lobby family
Got
room.
it.
Like mass. I remember massive.
Yeah. The scale of these rooms were
crazy,
massive.
Yeah.
I mean, the formal living room that I'm talking about is probably half the size of my house.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Easily, but again, it didn't feel. I don't know how to describe it though. When you're in it, it doesn't feel.
It didn't feel empty.
It never
and extravagant.
It never felt stale when I was over there.
Did it feel extravagant?
Extravagant.
Did you know it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, based off of people's reactions,
you just know
right?
it is.
My friends would come over and be like, "Damn."
Yeah.
So I would see that and be like, oh, okay. Or, my friend and I would do a double date and we would invite a couple girls over. And I mean, you could just see, right, the look on everyone's face, like, oh my God.
When you're leaving like your friends' names at the gate for security.
Yeah, I had to do that.
In and all this. Like it's a different.
Yeah. Of your house, not your community.
Right. It's a different life. Right.
I mean, probably intimidating when you're going to visit a boy and you and your friend come over and the gates open and security comes out and then they let you out to be dropped off and then you can, like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on
from the house.
Moving on from the house. Well, we might go back to the house. I don't know. We'll see.
You never know because there's so much to talk about.
I want to know what is most fascinating about the house. Is it the scale? Was it the stuff in the house?
To me, it is just, it's so far from the normal that I experienced as a kid. Like I remember when I would go over and it's like seeing the Eiffel Tower. Like it's like seeing the pyramids. Like it was just it was jaw-droppingly immaculate and incredible. And it was nothing I had ever experienced in life before. I'd never gone to someone's house and had that feeling, and had the security that let you in the gate. And like I'd never experienced any of that. And wandered down into the bowling alley with your sister. I talked about this before. Yeah. And she didn't even know what half the rooms in the house were. I was like, have you been to? She was like, no. Like, you've never been in the rooms that are in this house? Like, I would have explored all of them. So I think there's a fascination for people with that. It's so far outside the realm of what you perceive as normal, but I know it's all relative.
But this is a good question, though. This is a good topic because my question is there a perception, though, that having that somehow is like it must have been so amazing as a child or a teenager, or like that is the life. Like, what is the idea behind that?
Maybe for some. For me, I find it, because I'm a creature that wants closeness and connection and all those things, I find it daunting. Like, how do you fill all those rooms and what's in them? And my question is like, did it feel cold? Did it, I've grown up in modest sized homes, smaller when I was younger, but they were always filled with energy. But it was something that is so big, it feels like walking into a hotel. So that's why I'm like, how do you fill it with your family of 4 people?
Right.
And so that's why I find it fascinating. And then I wonder, like, how does that affect you in your life as a kid, knowing that it's so different to what other people have when you're dating? You know, do you tell people who you are? Do you worry that a girl is going to date you for your name and your house at that age instead of who you are?
Right.
I would worry about all of those things.
Yeah.
But we can get to that.
Okay.
We can get to that. I wanna move into, if you don't mind, like talking about when your dad passed, and it's been known, I think it's been said, that all the money was left to your mum, and that none of it was shared with you and Tori as of yet, let's say.
Well, not none.
Okay, none.
Right, because it was $800,000 in stock.
Okay.
I mean that in stock, that's normally like it's not just sitting in a bank, but it was $800,000 that we both received.
Got you. Okay, each.
Yes.
But how much was there that was left?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
How do you process that? Did you expect that? Did you know it was coming? How did you handle it?
I was at a time in my life I was deep in my addiction at that point, and there was so much going on. Like I was shooting a reality show at the time, which again was the antithesis of who I was, what I wanted to do. It didn't feel authentic to me, even though we're making this show, and I'm literally like deep in my addiction, like off the rails. My dad already had dementia and was declining, but right when the show started, he really started rapidly declining and then passed away while I was filming the show. So I'm battling addiction. I'm shooting this show that I don't even want to be doing, and there's a camera on me all the time, camera in the rooms.
Wow.
So I'm like trying to hide stuff and do stuff, and then worried about what's going to make it on camera, what can I share, what can I not share, and then, because our family's public, I'm also holding that. How's this going to affect, my mom, my sister, the family? So I couldn't hold it all. And when he passed, I was in pain of losing him. And then there was unfortunately a lot of drama around. There's a lot of family drama around when he passed. So that quickly also kind of overshadowed even just the processing of losing my father, and dealing with all of that. So I at that point I wasn't thinking about the money. And also I was 26 years old. So it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is going to change my life, or this is going to money wise. It was just like, okay, here's what I'm dealing with. And then when I found out that it was that much, the only thing I thought was, and I didn't want to have to make that call and say, Mom, could you help me out? I don't have anything. Like, I just didn't want to go there. I always wanted to be self-sufficient. That was important to me. Then I was like, oh no, I don't want to wind up with nothing. I want all completely safe as much as possible. So that then started my holding of I don't have.
You mentioned that you wish there were things that you could have said back in the time of his passing. What are some of those things?